Good morning guys, welcome back to another video. I hope you're all really well. Sorry, my voice was trembling a bit there, I don't really know why. Yeah, I hope you're all really well. It is Tuesday morning here in my micro bakery. All the bakes and deliveries are out the door. It's 8 o'clock, well 8:15, and yeah, everything was ready by 7 AM. I'm setting my alarm for like 4:30 these days, but it starts waking me up from like 4:10, 4:15-ish, and I'm feeling good. I'm feeling pretty good, and I'm finding it easier to wake up on these early starts, and I think it's just like, I don't know, it's all the boring stuff like self-discipline of getting to bed earlier. I now go to bed at 8 o'clock and I'm fully aware I probably sound like a right old grandma, but that is the reality. I am a bit of a grandma, and I think when you're a baker you have to sacrifice certain things for doing the job that you love, and it's honestly, it's been a process over the past 2.5 years of just like figuring out what works for me and what works for my body, and yeah, I'm feeling pretty good. And then I tend to stop having coffee much earlier as well. So like for example, this morning I've had a couple espressos at like 6 AM, and that's probably all the caffeine that I'll have for the day, just so that it gets completely out of my system before I start going to bed later on. And I feel so much better rested. It's kind of mad. I don't really know why I started saying this, but felt I'd just share that with you. So my last video was a very short one, just kind of a catch up on my little Scottish holiday and things that I'd been up to since I last saw you. I had my food hygiene inspection and I got 5 stars, so I'm very, very happy about that. I was so nervous for it. I spent a good day, if not more, just like cleaning and preparing for it. And I have the privileged position of being in a domestic kitchen, so they have to give you warning, whereas like if you're in an actual high street cafe or bakery or whatever food establishment, they will just turn up at any time. But I had all my paperwork in check, and yeah, I was very happy, and I still learned stuff. Like there's still stuff that I can improve on, obviously, always. But yeah, I was just very happy with how that went, and I'm considering making a video on how I prepared for that. Leave me a comment down below if you will find that useful. Obviously from country to country it will be different. All the rules and regulations will be so specific, but there may be some crossover things which may help you guys if you're also running micro bakeries or small food businesses, because I know how confusing all this stuff can be and how difficult it can be to get your head around all these things, let alone starting a business and just doing the day-to-day baking side of things. And yeah, there's just so many hats that you have to wear when you're running a business. It's so engaging and so wonderful in so many different ways, but it's really hard at the same time too. So that's kind of why I'm like quite strict on my boundaries on like what I will and won't do, because it is just so tiring sometimes. And for example, on Friday as well last week, I did my first ever wedding. So I did all my normal bakes and deliveries in the morning. Well, my delivery guy did all the deliveries, but what I mean is I got all of my normal like buns, sourdough, cookies, all of those done. And then I went and made 120 cupcakes without gluten, dairy, eggs or nuts for my first ever wedding, and it went down really well and I was so chuffed with it. It was quite a lot of work. It was a long day. It was about 14 hours or so, just like basically standing on my feet in my kitchen, getting all the cupcakes baked fresh and then iced and decorated with all the petals and then transporting it over to the venue. But I was really chuffed, and it's made me realise I want to do more of these special events, because there's just something extra lovely about being part of somebody's special day. So yeah, I'm gonna try and push wedding cakes a bit more online, and we'll see what happens there. So for the rest of today, I've got some bits and bobs to do. I've got a newsletter to write because I've got 3 markets in May, so pretty busy. I've got 2 markets next weekend, so back to back. My mum's going to help me out on the stall and on the Saturday, and then I'm going to so I'll bake in the morning, then prep later on for the Sunday market, and then maybe get to the Saturday market and do a bit of trading. And then on Sunday it's just me on the stall, so I'll do all my bakes and then go over to the market and trade there for the day. But oh yeah, that's what I wanted to say. So I had the wedding on Friday, and then on the Sunday I weirdly had a migraine out of nowhere, and I'm very lucky. I don't normally get them, but I've been getting them a bit more recently. And yeah, I couldn't see anything. It was the weirdest thing. Like, all the lights were blurring my vision and I couldn't see like the whole right side and couldn't even really open my eyes, and then started feeling really sick and just like a really bad headache. So that was a bit odd. I kind of had to go to bed on Sunday morning for a few hours, and then I was better in the afternoon. But I think it's just like, I don't know if it's related to my long day on Friday or if it's just one of those things, but it just goes to show you got to take good care of yourself, guys. So yeah, and what else have I got on today? Yeah, so I've got my newsletter to write. I've got some like trays to properly like deep clean, just boring stuff like that. I've got a meeting later on this morning, and I've also got my ebook to kind of finish off tweaking. I realise I've been saying this for months now, but it does take a long time actually, and I want it to be as good as it can be. So that's kind of where we're at. I also went to Brixton Windmill yesterday, and I'll show you this. So I live not far from Brixton, and they've got London's oldest working mill. So I bought this wholemeal flour, which I'm going to try, and I actually don't have any bread left today because it was just one of those days where I didn't have any loaves left for me to try. Bit unbelievable really, isn't it? Live in a bakery and don't have any bread. But what I'm thinking is later on I might make like a simple yeasted wholemeal bread, and I'll show you guys how I make that. I don't normally make yeasted breads anymore because I focus mainly on sourdough, but I don't think there's anything wrong with yeast as long as you work with it right and you give the bread enough time to relax and cold ferment. I'm all for it. So yeah, hopefully tomorrow morning I'll have a nice fresh tinned whole grain loaf to try. So that's kind of the plan for today, guys. I'll just bring you along and show you what I get up to. Don't really have any big video plans, but yeah, I hope you have a lovely day wherever you are.